been asked for that I do a how I pack items when sold. Type of video, I'm going to go ahead and I am doing a collection of different types of items that there's been asked for that I do a how I pack items when sold. And so the first one I'm going to start with, this is something that I only do when the items that are like the item I just sold. This one is a Sims 3 and it only has the case and the disc, but it does not have a manual. Now anytime I do these type of sales, the first thing I do is I'm going to show you how I pack these. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my camera so you can see what I'm doing here. Make sure you see the table here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I have the cassette ready, the whole thing ready to go. And I've already pre-cut, and I realized after I cut it to go ahead and show this type of video, because somebody's asking me, several people are asking me how I pack things. So anywho, I do keep a lot of the scraps of these bubble wraps. I have a container that has all these smaller pieces. And the reason I do that is because I'm going to take and cut it and have it just enough to fit inside the jewel. This way here, when I close it, this will prevent this disc from coming out in shipment. And so what I'm going to do is I'll make sure I start with this, and then I'll snap it and close it tight. And when you do this, you can tell there's no movement at all, which should be no movement. And so that's the first thing. Then what I'm going to do is I have a two-piece. Now, depending on the squareness that I have, sometimes a one ship square will not fit to cover this, so I'll use two. And I'm basically going to cover it, and I'll just keep rolling this until I get the whole complete, no matter how many times it takes to do it. Then I'll take and tape this down. Excuse the noise here because I'm already pulled the tape off the tape dispenser. And I'll just tape that down. And then I take the corners, and this is how I basically wrap gifts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inside and I'm going to tuck it in, make myself a V on both sides, and then I'm going to take that down. And this will give it like a little cushion thickness on both of the sides of the disc, the jewel. Do the same thing. I'll spread them apart, tuck it in, make two V's on both sides, fold it, and then tape that down. And then, of course, on all my orders, I do do a printout of a thank you letter and their packing slip. And I'll put that there. Then I'll get a suffocation bag. And the reason I do these suffocation bags is because this way here, everything fits nice and tight. And in case if something happens to the package, nothing should happen to the inside of this package itself. Because, again, you never know with the shipment what may happen. So I'll just take this off. Then I'll close this down. And then, of course, I'll tape this over. And then I'll take and tuck this over as well. And I do this, the reason I pack my packages like this is because I pack all my items that are going out like I would want them delivered to me. And then, of course, then I pick the actual bag itself that it's going in. And in this case, I use the eBay brown ones because these are a little bit thicker. Gives it more support on the disc. And then I'll just take this, put this inside the bag, and it will be a nice tight snug. And I need to tape this down because this is coming up. And then I'll slide this into the bag until it fits all the way in. And because it's a nice tight snug, you may have to push it in a little bit more. And these are the recyclable air jackets. Brown is what I buy on these. And I buy these a lot because of this right here. And then, of course, I'll take this off, seal it, and then again, I'll tape this. Now, this is very thick, but very airy. You can feel how light it is, but again, it still gives it that nice thick protection. And this is how I do the all my gaming discs, VHS tapes, DVD tapes, things like that. And then, of course, now I'm going to weigh it right at 4 ounces. Now let me cover all this up. And then what I'll do is put my 4 ounces. And I use this on all my items. I print out a page for all items that are sold. And now, to be on the safe side, I'm going to make sure and remeasure and make sure my measurements are correct. This is 9.5, so I'm going to round it up to 10 because on eBay, for some reason, you cannot do halves. I just round up. And this way, it's 7.5, so I'll do 8. And then, of course, this is how I do my height. I'll take my paper, put it sliced to the top, and measure it, and it says 1.5. So now that becomes 2. And that is how I do this type of package. All right, on the next item that I have, this is a blanket that I sold. Now, I had this on eBay, but it's sold on my cross pack on everything I cross list off of eBay goes on to Bonanza, and so that's what this sold. So I'm not going to use an eBay bag. I keep these solid colors for that reason, and again, my colors are purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this because it's a cloth item, and again, I will use a suffocation bag. Put the item into a suffocation bag. Actually, I should turn it over. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'm going to take my letter packing slip and add that into my envelope along with the thank you note. And now I'm going to seal this. Get all the air out. Tape this shut. Shove this into the bag, the poly bag. And again, it may take a little bit to get it in there. And then a lot of times, if you have trouble shoving things into in a bubble mailer, use a hair dryer. Expand it out a little bit. You can get it in there. But I'm confident that I can get this in here. As long as it can close, that's all I need. And this is going out priority. But because it came from Bonanza, I'm not going to be using an eBay. Just like if I sell on Amazon, I do not use my eBay bags. That's a big no-no. So, of course, I'm going to work this in there. It may take a little bit, but I'll get it in there. Some people say use a straw on the inside. I just kind of work it until I get it all in there. Even though it's a cloth, like I said, I want to make sure it's, and I'm tearing the bag, but that's all right because I'll tape that up. And come on now, work with me. There we go. And I'll keep working until it goes all the way to the bag inside. It is done. Now, mind you, I did tear the bag a little bit, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do because I tape all my bags down when I'm done. So tape that down. And then I'll come back on this end and tape these corners down. All right, that takes care of that corner. And now I'll do this corner. And I'll make sure I tape over where the part I tore open. And then I'll put another piece over this way. And that'll complete that one. I'll show you how I pack this particular product. I do different things, and so I figured I'd be doing some clips on how I do different types of packing as requested by my viewers. And so what I'm going to do is I just sold this DC Comics. It's a set of 5 Funkos, and it's in the Series 1 DC Comics. And so I'm going to show you by tilting the camera down and showing you exactly how I pack this particular item. And I'm going to be doing various items of things that I pack to give you an idea. All right, so first what I do is I know what box I want to use for things like this. In this particular case, I already started putting together. It's the shoebox box that I'm going to be using for this particular item. And then what I'm going to do is I first wrap it with, even though it's going to be in a box, I still want to protect it. I know this will be a very tight fit, but that's okay because it'll be something that I can fix by the way I wrap it. So first I'm going to bubble wrap it one way. Get my scissors out. And there's going to be a few minutes of a noise here because I will be pulling the tape dispenser out here. And it's okay, I'm going to leave them out like this on the side because now I'm going to take it and come across lengthwise. It kind of gives it an extra protection. again, I'll cut it across this way. Actually, I can cut it across the dot, the square, the perforated line. All right, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tape this down. Then I'm going to take these and fold them like I would a present. I'll come down this way, put a small piece of tape here. Same thing here, come this way, small piece of tape down this way, and come across, tape this way. And that's how I package all my Christmas gifts as well when I'm packing gifts. And then the same thing here. Small piece of tape here. Come down here. And a small piece of tape there. And then I'll fold it across. Sorry about the noise from the tape dispenser. And then I'll take this now, and every order I do a thank you letter and their packing slip inside. And I'll put this inside of a suffocation bag. And it's just a matter of, with me doing this for so long already, I kind of know the size that I will be using for each item as I pack them. And then I'll go ahead and seal this. This is like a protection, keeping everything tight together in a package. And then I will take and tape this down. Come across and tape that. It wasn't long enough. And then I'll do the same thing on each corner. Tape that down. Tape that down. And now it'll go right into the box. Nice and snug. It will not move. Now, I do have some space inside. I will be cutting this down a little bit. So what I will do is take my box cutter. I will follow the inside, and this is what they call a Franken box, or actually resizing a box. And I'm basically going to cut on each corner from the item of the box itself with the item inside. Judge it. And then I'll take and fold it down. And I'll just come in and I will cut these extras off because I don't really want all that extra in there. That's just the way I do it. And I'll just cut across this on both sides. And this will keep the item even tighter inside the box without moving. And then I'll fold one side. Then again, I cut, and it doesn't matter because these are not flat rate boxes. And then I'll cut this one off. All of that will go in my recycle bin, by the way. And so actually, if I do it this way, it doesn't matter, but I want to make sure I have a nice tight fit on the box. And it seems like it won't be, this will be okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some tissue on the inside of this to give it that height I need. Kind of give it that squareness on there, like that. And then I can go ahead and tape it up. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape across this way, but I have one of these little Scotty peelers that I just basically flatten it along the seam. And then I can take all this and pick this up because I'm done with that. I will need the measuring tape. And then what I'll do is I'll take a piece of tape, come across, and I'll do it again on this side, and here. And then what I'll do is I'll take my little Scotty peeler and do the same thing across the rim. And that's just something I do. It's just a habit. And then what I'll do is I'll even come across and put tape here. Just to kind of give that nice seal on that open piece right there. And do the same thing here. And then I'll come across and just give it a little extra tape right here on the sides. That one's still sealed, that one's good, and that one needs a little piece there. And yes, I do a lot of taping, but guess what? At least I know my items go to my customers without being damaged. And I already put a tape across, and across this way. And so yeah, this is pretty good and ready to go. In this particular item, I'm going to show you how I pack this kind of stuff. And I'll be doing different types of clips of different types of packagings that I do, because it was a request that I do some kind of packing type. Now, this is the way I pack. That necessarily means it's right or wrong, and everybody packs differently, but this is just the way I pack out this kind of stuff. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do is I'm basically fold everything. It's clothing, so it's okay. I'm going to leave it with the little hanger, and I'll put it right back into the suffocation bag. And then I will, let me hide this from that, because that's the information of the customer. And then I'll take their packing slip, put that inside the bag as well. And then I'm just going to close this. And then excuse the noise for a second, because I will take a piece of tape, tape that across, slide it all to one side. Then I'll fold this back. And again, take this portion and then basically slide it inside of this poly mailer. Where's the end of the candle? Right up here. And then I go to that extra step, and I do tape the back of the envelope, make sure it's nice and sealed, and then I'll bring a couple of extra pieces to the side. And then yes, I will then weigh it and measure it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and weigh this first. The scale's right here on the side, and it's 2.5 ounces, so it's 2.5, I'm going to round up to 3 ounces. So let me cover my customer's information, and it's 3 ounces. And the way I do my shipping on all my paperwork is I basically do it the same way. I do my cost of goods on one piece, my eBay fees, and then now my shipping, which is 3 ounces. And then I'll take the measuring tape, and usually most people will take and measure exactly before. So this is 8.5, so I'm gonna round that to 9. And then I'll measure this way. That's 7.5. I'll measure not. Oh, 7.5. Did I say 7.5? Yes. So that's 8. And then what I'll do here is I'll use my paper to kind of make sure I get a correct measurement. Make sure it's flat, and that's 1. And that is how I pack and measure. And then I'll take this and enter into the label to get my label and get my label printed up for this package. I want to do this particular item because a lot of things that I do ship when it comes to this type of product, and these are the wrestling figures. It does have a nice plastic on it, but I don't want anything to happen to it, so this does not go, depending on where it's going. A lot of times if it goes overseas, I do put it in a poly bag, but I wrap it really well, put it in a suffocation bag, then a bubble mailer. But on this one, I'm going to put this in a box, and these are going priority. So I use a lot of these because these I can use and cut and Frankenbox. And this one is the 1095, and this is one that's not marked anything that says flat rate. So I'm going to configure this one to fit this box on the height and size. So what I want to do first is I will take and open this up, and I do close one end. And what I like about these boxes, they have these little tape pieces that you just pull. And if I can get it started, and basically just pull this covering over the sticky part. Come on. There we go. Started here. Finish that. And then I'm going to take and close this end up. And then what I'll do is I do tape across and lengthwise of the box. I'll probably have to go get some more tape in a few minutes. But I'll do this one way. And then I'll do it this way. And that basically is all the tape I use on these type of boxes like this when I do this. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bubble wrap the actual package first. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and bubble wrap this, but I want to start with the cover because I like to always double when I'm doing bubble mailer. I want to make sure that I'm protecting the top as well as the bottom, but because this is plastic, I'm gonna make sure that I get more bubble wrap on the plastic on the top, and just keep on wrapping this. And this way here, I have a little bit more extra protection. Even though it's going in a box, I just want to make sure I have this protected. And this is how I always mail this type of product out, just to protect it. Then I'm going to take this, and I do have the welcome, thank you letter, and a packing slip. And now I'm going to get a suffocation bag. Should be big enough. Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll take both of these, put this in the suffocation bag. And it's just an added layer of protection. You never know with the weather and things like that. So I'll add this to it. Put it right in the center. And then I'll pull that tab off of that. Oh, here it is. It missed the trash can. All right. And then, of course, I'll take and do this. And then I'll tape this up. Sorry about the noise from the tape. And then I'll just go back and take these little sections and kind of just tape these down. Tape this across. Same thing on this side. Tape that across. And then I'll fold this down. And now it's ready for the box. Now, what I'll do with the box is, I will take it and I'll put the item inside the box first. As you see, it's nice and tight. I'm going to slide it all the way in. And then what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to cut this down the size. Because as you see inside, there is a lot of room inside. And you'll see the package on the inside here. Well, come on. There we go. Maybe there. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut wherever it ended. I'm going to cut each side with this box cutter. And I'll do the same on the other side. And I'll follow the seam. And sometimes it doesn't go all the way through, so you have to come back and redo it again because that's the thicker part of the box. Then basically I'm going to fold the two on the inside. And then I'll just take, and this is how I do it because I find that's how it gives me that line. And I'll just fold it wherever it ends at. And of course I will come back and kind of shorten these pieces up because to me it's too much, which is fine. But I'm going to take and cut this down, and that'll go into the recycle bin. And then what I'll do here, because I'm going to add some filler paper on the inside, and I'm going to take and make sure this is even. And this is not even there. There we go. So I'm going to take this, make sure I fold it again to where I have it, cut that across. And the only reason I can do it with this box because it does not say flat rate. All right, there's that side. And then I'll take this one and then I'll fold this one over to match that. And then I'll just cut right before the flap. Now, the next step is going to be very noisy, so just bear with me on that. Because I'm going to go ahead and fill it up, filler paper this. And I have, what I do is I'll take a sheet, have these in sheets, and also recycle all my filler paper, bubble wrap, bubble mailer, things like that. And then what I'll do is, because I'm going to the side first, I'm going to fold it in half, fold that in half, and I'm going to tuck it on one end. Sorry for the noise. And then I'll take that and fold that over. And then do the same thing with the other half I have cut. It doesn't matter how, it don't have to be perfect. And I'll do the same thing on this side. Tuck it in on this side here. Bring it all the way down. Go across. Come back down with the flaps. And now it's time to tape. And then what I'll do is I'll go across the center first. And I need to go get some more tape. There we go. It's okay about the little bulk in the middle. And I'm going to tape this down here first. now that I'm back with the finishing taping part here, I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. I'll put tape here. Now I have these little scally peelers, and I usually just take and kind of do this with the seams. It's just what I do. And then I'll do this side. And then I'll come across completely. Sorry about the noise from the tape dispenser. But it's just a matter of showing you how I do certain packaging on certain items. And yes, I do go through a lot of tape when it comes to this kind of stuff, because I want to make sure it's nice and sealed as best as I can. And that is how I do this portion of it. And then of course now I'm going to get my weight, and I do need to tape this again here. So what I'll do is I'll come through the corner here. Let me cut this little portion off. Actually, I'm going to cut a little wing. Fold that one over. And then what I'll do is, before I flip this over, I'm going to come do the same thing in the corners along the seam. Kind of give it that nice little touch. And just fold that over. Now we're going to go ahead and get weighed out. All right, I hope you enjoyed this type of video. I know it's been requested. There's going to be multiple parts because of the fact that I do have a lot of clips of different products that I did pack. I know in the next video, part 2, I will also show you how I pack vinyl records. So that's just a little tidbit of what's coming up in part 2. There will be multiple parts because I'm trying to keep these under 30 minutes. Sometimes it's kind of hard when doing a how-to video. And if this is your first time coming to the channel and you tripped over my channel, I want to thank you so much for coming by. Also, if you've been returning, I want to thank you so much for your continuing support to the channel. But please do me a favor. All I'm asking is free. Right below this video, that word subscribe, if it's red, means you're not subscribed. Change it to gray. Right next to it, there's those 3 notifications. The very top one, if you hit that notification, you get all notifications when I come out with any how-to videos or any type of videos. And most importantly, give me the thumbs up, but leave me those comments below because it does help the channel, and I do comment and back to every comment that I see in my videos. So that being said, like I said before, in each and every one of my videos, love always, love is always free. Please be kind to one another until we meet into another chat or a video. Have a blessed and fabulous day, and until we meet again, later. Peace out.